Mr. Zuvi, you mentioned, of course, these protests that are unprecedented, but, and I think I've asked you this question a while ago again, but, as we look at what's happening in Gaza, it is a case in point for, all that is against humanity. It is a case in point of all that is, against humanitarian law, international law, Geneva Convention, UN resolutions, anything that's humane. How do you think the world is going to look at this? How do you think that that the students of law are going to look at it as a case in point for the efficacy of international law?
Well, that is the first thing which everyone asks me whenever I stand up to give any talk relating to international law issue, whether it's a university, it's a college, it's a group of people, it's an international conference, local or abroad. That is more or less the first question that is thrown at me as someone who has spent his time in international law work and academic work, that where is international law? If it couldn't protect what has happened in Gaza, then the efficacy of international law is put to test severely. So I understand the reputation of international law as a norm, as a global regime, has been dented. It has been severely bruised, singularly on account of this incidents in Gaza and the atrocities by the Israel. But we still have to retain faith in the larger norm. Nevertheless, while we may be critical of international law, we may be disappointed in international law, but at the same time, it still exists as a standard against which the conduct of the states is measured. So when India, for example, holds in abeyance a treaty, we say it is a violation of international law and the Vienna Convention. So again, the standard is that of international law. When India tries to attack a neighboring country or says it wants to have an Akhand Bharat and take over the neighboring states, we say it is a violation, potential violation of the 1945 UN Charter. And even now, as you see in the Gaza issue, while President Trump is steering the entire discussion and the background negotiations on this amongst the 8 states that are likely to at the end of the day, the entire consensus is being converted into in a UN resolution, which is under the UN Charter. So the legal mandate is so considered to be an inbuilt norm that it must be adhered to, it must be adopted, and the conduct needs to align with that. So while the international law has suffered on account of this particular incident, and now, of course, on account of its failing in Kashmir issue as well, still it continues to be a norm that we should not lose sight of and make use of as and when it is available to us or to our strategic interest.